All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today we're going to pull back the curtain on Fiverr's rulebook. You know that little bit of anxiety you get wondering what happens if you accidentally break a rule? Well, we're about to break down their entire enforcement system so you know exactly what to expect.
And look, if you've ever felt that way, you are definitely not alone. It's a huge concern for both sellers and clients, especially when your income or your project depends on it. So let's get into it and get some real clarity.
Okay, so first things first. Before we can really get into the nitty-gritty of the rules, we gotta understand the why behind them. I mean, why does this whole enforcement system even exist?
And really, when you boil it all down, it comes back to this one simple goal. Every single policy, whether it's a tiny warning or a full-on account suspension, it's all there to try and keep the marketplace fair, safe, and, well, trustworthy for everybody.
So how in the world does a platform as massive as Fiverr even begin to police itself? Well, it's basically a one-two punch. First up, you've got automated systems. Think of them as digital watchdogs, constantly sniffing around for anything suspicious. They're the first line of defense. But, tech can't catch everything, right? That's where the human review team comes in. Real people who manually dig into anything the system flags.
All right, so let's say you slip up. You break a minor rule. What happens then? Well, for most first-time oopsies, the process doesn't start with some big scary penalty. It starts with a simple warning.
And this is actually a really key insight into how Fiverr thinks about this stuff. They don't really see a warning as a punishment. They frame it as a teaching moment. The idea isn't to smack you on the wrist, it's to help you understand what you did wrong so you don't do it again. It's education.
So how long does this teaching moment stick around? For 90 days. Yep, for a full 3 months, that warning is active on your account. And this is important. It can absolutely impact your seller level and even how your gigs rank in search. So yeah, it's definitely not something you want to just shrug off.
But, okay, what if you ignore that warning? Or what if the violation was pretty serious from the get-go? Well, this is where things start to get, well, serious. The consequences start to ramp up, and they can ramp up fast.
So you can kind of see the path here. After that first warning, the stakes get higher. For instance, if you get a second warning for the exact same thing, or you rack up 3 warnings for different issues, your account is suddenly in the high-risk zone for being permanently shut down. And Fiverr is tracking all of this, letting you know why at every step of the way.
Now, right before things go completely south with a suspension, you might hit this stage, account restriction. Think of it as a final 60-day grace period. It's basically your last chance to wrap everything up, finish your active orders, communicate with your clients, and this is the big one. Get your money out before the account is gone for good.
Then there's this other thing called ineligible to sell. And this is different from a restriction, because it isn't always a direct path to getting suspended. You'll often see this for stuff like trying to hide your location or running multiple accounts. Basically, you can't sell anymore, but you can still hang around as a client and buy gigs from other people.
And that brings us to the end of the line, account suspension. For the really serious violations, or for people who just keep breaking the rules, Fiverr doesn't mess around with warnings. They go straight to a permanent ban.
And what gets you there? Well, these are the absolute deal breakers. The platform has these non-negotiable red lines. We're talking about stuff like illegal activities, hate speech, discrimination, adult services, even abusing the report button to try and hurt other users. You do any of that, and it's an immediate, permanent suspension. No warnings, no second chances.
So, let's talk about the money. If your account gets suspended, what happens to your earnings? That number, 90, pops up again. But this time, it's not a warning. As a freelancer, your funds get put on hold for a 90-day security period. This is mainly to cover any potential refunds or chargebacks. After those 90 days are up, you can usually withdraw whatever's left.
Okay, but what if you think they got it wrong? What if you truly believe that warning, or even a full-on suspension, was a mistake? Is it just game over? Well, not necessarily. There is an appeal process. You do have a path to get it reviewed.
And here's the crucial part. You have a window of opportunity. From the second you get that notification, the clock starts kicking. You have up to 6 whole months to get in touch with customer support and make your case with a formal appeal.
So when you do appeal, it can only go one of 2 ways, right? If they grant your appeal, it means they agree a mistake was made. The warning gets wiped off your record, or your account gets switched back on. But if your appeal is rejected, that's it, the decision is final. There's nowhere else to go from there.
All right, so let's zoom out for a second. After looking at all these steps and procedures, what does this whole complicated system really tell us about what it takes to run a massive online marketplace?
You know, it all really boils down to this one fundamental challenge. Every single online marketplace is performing this constant, delicate balancing act. On one hand, you have to protect your users and keep the platform safe. But on the other hand, you can't be so strict that you crush the very freedom and creativity that makes the platform so valuable to begin with.
And really, that just leaves us with the big lingering question, doesn't it? Do you think this system actually strikes the right balance? Is it a totally necessary framework for keeping the marketplace healthy? Or is it just a rigid set of rules that can end up unfairly punishing good, honest freelancers for making small mistakes? I guess the answer really depends on whether you're the one giving the warning or getting it. Thanks for joining us on The Explainer.